Hello. If everybody can hear me okay. All right. I think we're back in action. Sorry about that. I knew what the problem is. I think people are using my feed. I did not use the secure password, so I apologize. So you can wag your finger at me. I did not use a secure password because I'm using a mobile hotspot, so I need to do that. Minus 5 points for me. But on the plus side, you did not miss anything. So sweet. Here at Salt Lake City International Airport. What? Gulfstream. Sorry about that delay. As I said, people are stealing my Wi Fi hotspot. So learned a lesson today. Make sure you double password protect. So sorry about that, folks. But I'm back. Feel free to say hi. Some people are just rude. The old Gulfstream 5. Driving on 17 left. We've seen this black Gulfstream before. I gotta find out who the owner is. They must really like skiing or live here. One of the two. This is my ninth, or excuse me, my 10th broadcast. So still getting a few things worked out, and I apologize. So I appreciate your patience and the hardcore supporters. But I am here to stay as much as I can. Thanks for the likes and welcome in. I deserve to be tased because I did not lock up the old password protect. Shame on me. Inbound, Delta 2486 from Jackson Hole. A nice short A319 flight. We are looking northeast, so looking towards Bountiful, Ogden, Farmington, so the cities to the north of Salt Lake City. And we are in Salt Lake City at Salt Lake City International Airport in Utah, in the United States, if you're tuning in from across the ocean. And while we're waiting for that inbound Airbus, we are waiting for departure from United 1850 on a 737-900. Oh, good question, Michael. New terminals. So the concourses A and B are done, but they're going to be building part one. Let me say concourses A1, B1 are done. But if I zoom out real quick, this is the part that we're looking at right now. This is the unfinished part that they should have done next year, late next year. So this is, if we want to zoom in for a quick second, I think, because the other gates are 26 down to 1. Yeah, so here are the more eastern gates. You can see A40, A38. So that's the second part of the concourse for A. And Delta's pretty much going to take up the entire A concourse. So I can probably guess that they're going to be announcing a few more flights. That's just a guess. And then B will be the last part, the second part, which will finish in 2025. But I'll tell you one thing they need to do is build a new parking garage, because the parking garage, it's basically already full. Here's what I don't get. You spend all this money, the billions of dollars, you built it to accommodate 35 million people, and you're already at 26 before the pandemic. That's what I don't get. You're going to hit that in like, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, based on the current models for growth, you know? But that's just me. That's just me pontificating. Oops, sorry about that. A319 is what you're looking at. Inbound from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. See its little tail sneak. Say hi out there like a shark. Yep, there it is. Surprise. Yes, you're exactly right. Yeah, so Dallas, nice. That's very cool. Airport building in a sim, that's pretty awesome. I remember, so I was still in Dallas at the time at Envoy when they announced the Terminal F. Yeah, and I was kind of looking forward to it as well. I'm surprised they're not going to go for the full extent that you that we've, like you said, like you mentioned. I'm surprised. But then again, it was a different CEO at the time who announced that, Doug Parker, than who's the CEO of America now. So maybe they'll just do it in phases, you know, like Salt Lake has done. But I was there. Okay, so at Christmas time, And then a little bit before that for an interview, I was pretty impressed with the modular Terminal D extension, and then also the new C gates getting redone because C Terminal C is old. Yeah, so it definitely needed some love. But if you're just tuning in and you were cuff, I apologize. I'm pretty sure somebody was using my hotspot, so that killed the bandwidth. So I'm going to work on that too. When you're in time, we got a United 737-900 that is taking off to Houston, Texas. Tell you what, if I was getting paid, I gotta hire somebody to do photography too on the side, which will happen eventually. But right now, you know, got to make people enjoy it. Good content. So we get a 175 arrival on the ground there. So what I'm hoping to do soon is head down to Provo. Most people don't even know Provo if they haven't been there before. But they're starting to do a lot of commercial service out of there. We are live in Salt Lake City. After a major snowstorm that dumped about a foot of snow in the valley and 2 feet of snow in the mountains. And if you're just coming back, I want to apologize to you. I did not password protect my Wi-Fi hotspot, so they were probably eating up the bandwidth. But I learned the lesson. And if you're new as well, hit the subscribe and like button. If you subscribe, this will be the best way that you can know where I'm going to be next. Last week, I did go on remote to Las Vegas and Phoenix, and I'll probably go there soon again. Got some friends there, and there's a lot of variety. And of course, Salt Lake is my home base. Thanks for the like. But there are a lot of other places we can go on remote. So there's that too. I want to turn to the south and east, see some of the general aviation action we have here. Give you a good viz on that. Got a little bit of everything. People, newcomers to the channel in Salt Lake, I know I've talked about this before, but if you're not aware, so there's Salt Lake City downtown, but just on the other side of the mountains, right? So we'll zoom out real quick. On the other side of the mountains is Park City. So it's about a 25, 30-minute drive with no weather problems to Park City. So it's really convenient for skiers, avid skiers, because they could just rent a car or have people take them, and they will. You'll be in Park City in like 30 minutes. And not a whole lot of airports can say that in the United States. There's a few, but to be to this major of a city with all the conveniences, it's definitely a nice little bonus. What is that? 737. Hmm. I'm intrigued. But anyways, that was just a little background knowledge for you on Park City and Salt Lake and being so close to each other. I'm high above Salt Lake City International Airport, currently standing on the fifth floor of the parking garage, in case you're wondering. So I'm glad that you could join me. Keep the camera fairly steady so you don't get too much action, but I do have gloves on today, so I apologize in advance. It's 36 degrees, and obviously that white stuff, if you've never seen it before, is snow. Speaking, Michael, I know you're down in Dallas. I was actually dispatching those days where we had the freak snowstorm and epic cold temperatures, and our operations center shut down because the diesel generator froze. Because the diesel froze. So, a little fun fact for you there. But thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be here till about 3 o'clock. And so another hour or two, or another hour of plane spotting. And glad you could join us. And I love doing this. My background is in aviation. I was a flight dispatcher for 4 years, and I'm currently take a step away from that to do this in part, but also prepare. Currently take a step away from that to do this in part, but also prepare for MBA school in the fall and do a couple other things. So if you do have a question about flight dispatching, feel free to message me either on here on the live chat, or you can message me Instagram, just 23 Right Productions. So it's just 23R Productions. That 175 that we see coming into the screen, that is headed to Oklahoma City on Delta 3510 on an Embraer 175. Oklahoma City, by the way, is home for a lot of FAA offices and is a hub for a lot of the FAA offices outside of Washington. I think they do some of their ATC training out in Oklahoma City. But low cost of living, cheap gas, a lot of tornadoes, but other than that, Oklahoma City is a pretty nice place. And Will Rogers is a pretty easy airport to navigate and get in and out of. This is definitely a good view if you want to see departures heading south. They come out right out in front of you, so that's really pretty, especially with the backdrop. And if you do like spotting and like to travel around, when you fly into Salt Lake, you just get off the gate, go out through the exit, and just walk across the pedestrian bridge, and you can just plane spot from here on the garage. The garage is super expensive. It's like $5 an hour. But if you're just flying in, you don't need a car. And the other thing is, if you fly into Salt Lake, there's also a light rail system. So you can get to the airport from the airport to downtown Salt Lake in about 15 minutes. And it's like $2. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. If you were tuning in earlier and lost the stream, I apologize. Again, somebody has been using my Wi-Fi. I did not password protect the old stream, and I deserve to be. Uh, Somebody wagged the finger at me. Disappointed, but we're bringing the action in still. And I am Pip, and this is Pip's Planespotting live from Salt Lake City International Airport. Be on the air for about another 50 minutes or so. A lot of the arrivals, what they're doing is they're funneling them along the south side and then the western mountains, then and arriving and taking them up along the Great Salt Lake and sending them on runway 16 right. But this has a little bit of better visibility, and I wanted to give you some of the natural beauty of the mountains. So I hope you don't mind. But we do have a Challenger 650 that's headed inbound, should be inbound to runway 17 in the next 10 minutes. So love those private jets. And the other thing I was going to touch on earlier is, Provo, which is about 40 minutes of Salt Lake. It's quickly becoming a ultra low cost destination for a couple of airlines, including Breeze, the newest airline, and also Legion, which has been there for a couple years. So we'll probably get out to Provo soon as well. So they have a lot of departures in the morning, and then it just is dead. So we got to either get there in the morning or late at night. And then being late at night, we want to make sure there's sunlight. So it'll probably be the summertime, unless we get there early in the morning. So just a FYI. Thanks for the likes and the subscribes. Subscribing, as I've mentioned before, is typically the best way for you to know where we're going to be, when we're going to be there, and at what time. And I'm trying to get people trained up on UTC time. So I figure a happy medium is I announce both the UTC time, but also the local mountain time as well, for those who aren't too familiar with UTC time, which is Zulu time, which, for your information, wherever you go in the world, it is a constant. UTC time, that's why that's why airlines probably go by that, is it's a constant no matter where you're at. Things typically, if you're a spotter, are the busiest, especially in the afternoon for departures, because they go towards the East Coast. Southwest flight to Houston Hobby. So I would say the busiest hours are typically from about 1 to 6, maybe a little bit later in the summertime. I would encourage you to continue to subscribe and like because I expect KLM will come back for their summer seasonal service to Amsterdam. And then also Eurowings Discover did seasonal service to Salt Lake City, and I expect them to come back. I think it was a well received service, so we'll see that as well. I'm hoping one more international carrier will uh, come out here. Maybe it'll be Zip Air, the low cost Japanese carrier. There's a lot of people who have connections to uh, Tokyo, either business or serving a Mormon mission. So there's a lot of connections out here. And the other thing is, I think people would go nuts if Fiji Airways did service out here. There's like so many people from the islands out here. It's crazy. Or even Hawaiian Islands. So maybe Hawaiian will start flying here. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, saying hi. It is 1:14 Pacific time, 2:14 Mountain time. And we're here at Salt Lake City International Airport. Love a like and subscribe and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. We are looking east, northeast right now, looking at the beginning of runway 16 left. $22.78 is what you see in the difference distance. That is A319 coming in from Jackson Hole. landing on runway 17 left, or runway 17. Gary, yeah, so my next stream, that's a great question. Try and do one at the least every couple of days. Sorry, I was focusing in on the camera there. Every couple of days. I might head to Denver this weekend, but not sure. So here's what'll happen. If I don't go to Denver, I will probably do a stream tomorrow and Sunday in Salt Lake City. But if not, um, I will be out and about in Denver and Colorado doing some plane spotting. Speaking of that, the best way to know where I'm going to be broadcasting, when it'll be, is by going to subscribe for the channel. And I do try and put out a video every the night before or the morning of, so that you get a heads up. It's just like a 30-second video for subscribers. And just says, hey, here's where I'm going to be at this time. And that way it's typically the night before, the day of. So I hope that helps a little bit, but I'll keep PP, I'll keep people updated what's going on. You can see in the distance there that 737 Delta is about to take off, but I also do see what appears to be the A330-900 headed to Paris. That's getting ready to take off soon. See that shark tail? It's not often. Headed out there. So we'll keep an eye out for our A330, and then looks like we get a 175 getting ready to line up. So you can see, yep, you can see the A330-900 there at the end of the runway, just short of the threshold. Sweet Gary, thanks for subscribing. You are welcome. I'm here to help and help you enjoy plane spotting. So without further ado, I will not interrupt the A330-900 headed to Paris. She's a beaut. Beautiful. Takes a while for those big doors to close. Got a little bit of wind, south wind today, not too bad so far. I hope it stays that way. So it's a little fluttery right now, but still looking pretty good. And thanks for the likes and the subscribes. I do want to say that something I announced early on in the broadcast, and for those people turning in the second hour, that there was a new announcement. If you're out in San Francisco or want to get to San Francisco, or if you're looking for a cheap way to get to Tokyo from San Francisco, Zip Air, the low cost carrier out of Japan, is starting service in June this year, nonstop from San Francisco to Japan. It's called Zip Air, ZIP Air. So check it out. It is a nice low cost way. I think all their seats are all the same, kind of the Southwest model. So just a little fun fact. Just over a half hour to go. Hopefully the battery will stay strong on my laptop. We're working on getting an external power source so we can do longer broadcasts. So right now, I think it's kind of like it's a good way because it's about 2 hours. So that way you don't have to confess to anybody that you spent the entire day watching Planespotting. Not that that's a bad thing, but anyways, we do about 2 hour broadcasts, so it's about the length of a movie, and you can pop some popcorn and enjoy it, and we'll educate and hopefully impress. I'm also trying to get one of my dispatcher friends to help join me for the broadcast, but so far, I think he's a little nervous because he has to. He's got some stuff going on. But anyways, hopefully we can get him out here because he's a good man. And I got a couple of female friends who are dispatchers too that I'd like to get out here as well, and some pilot friends too. And I know the Women in Aviation conference is going on right now in Long Beach, so maybe we can recruit from there too. Thanks for everybody for tuning in and saying hi. And thank you for that like. Looking at the A220 right here, departing, headed to San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose? Sorry, guys. The gloves make it difficult being this cold. 37 degrees is where we stand right now with a little bit of a wind chill. And that's degrees in Fahrenheit because I know most of the rest of the world is Celsius. So we're probably like 2 degrees Celsius. This is probably one of my favorite planes is the A220, the Airbus A220. This is the 300 variant. A little bit bigger, a few more seats than the 100 variant. But one of my personal favorites. If you guys have a favorite airplane, I'd sure love to hear it. Shoot it off in the chat. My personal favorites are the 820 and the Dreamliner 787. Those are my personal favorites. Ask Gear if he's watching. I know what his is. This is like the MD-11. Thanks for the like there. Kind of turning my head back and forth, watching both the stream and the camera. So if I'm a little delayed on the chat, just stick with me and I'll make sure to answer your questions. Make sure I don't miss anything. About a half hour left to go in the broadcast for today. Like I said, I will make sure that you're aware. The best way to do it is subscribe, and I'll put out a video usually the night before, the day of. And I know for you current viewers, I'm being a dead horse, but remember there are new people all the time, so try and being consistent. I am a former radio guy, so it's all about advertising. Been kind of busy. I haven't even looked at flight radar in a little bit. See what's going on. Hey everyone, I see you guys sneaking in there. Thank you so much. It's good to meet Gary and Michael. All right, so we got about 13% battery life left on my computer. I sinned when I put flight radar on my computer, which kind of expedited the power source issue. So we could probably make it to 250. I'll pray for a little bit longer. So just to give you a heads up, if I go bye-bye, but I'll make sure and say goodbye. So hopefully the battery will just chill out for a second. And on my computer, that's right, how we're doing it. Give you a little background on what I'm doing with my stream. So yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I've got a camera. It is the Canon R7. Great camera for 4K videoing and for natural light. Horrible camera for low light situations. Doesn't have a good ISO. And I am also using a 100-400 lens so I can get a really good zoom. And so it's kind of heavy, so that's why the tripod, I need a little more heavy duty tripod, but it is a Canon R7 and 100-400 lens, and then I've got a MacBook Pro, latest generation with the silicon chips. So I can usually get about 2 hours of battery life out of that laptop if I'm just running the streaming software before it goes kaput. Because live streaming is pretty battery intensive as this A220 gets ready to take off, heading to Sacramento. Beautiful. It's been a great day so far for plane spotting here. I am Pip. If you're just tuning in, Pip's Plane Spotting Live. We're in Salt Lake City International Airport, hub for Delta Airlines, if you're not aware. It also has a Delta Sky Club and is a really long walk. I'm going to warn you right now, if you are flying out of Concourse B, which is the non-Delta Airlines, except for like some of the Delta connections, it is about a mile walk from the check-in counter to your gate. That is no joke. So it'd probably take about a 20-minute walk. And there's no tram. There's no train in between the concourses. So this is a warning in advance. Warning in advance that if you are going to fly non-Delta Airlines into Salt Lake City, just be prepared that. So that's JetBlue, Spirit, Alaska, Southwest, of course, United, American. Am I missing anybody? Air Canada Express. So that's going to be a walk. Heads up. Trying to trying to find the net jets, and with the snow background, it's hard to catch the Cessna jet right there. And I got her. So it looks like we've got a Sun Country charter. Don't know if it's the men's basketball team for the University of Utah or something else. Maybe a group of skiers. But looks like Sun Country charter getting ready to take off. So Sun Country is not typically a usual airline that we'll see, but we will see a lot of charters in here for obviously athletic purposes. So thanks for the likes and subscribes. I saw a new one, some new guys and ladies jumping in here from across the country and around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is a beautiful day here in Salt Lake City. Could not have asked for anything better. 32 just call it upper 30s for the temperature. So it's a little nippy, but maybe one day I'll do a video of how I dress myself because I've got a few heavy duty clothes on to keep warm here. While we're waiting on that 737-800, hopefully it'll stick around for a minute. Let's turn our attention to runway 16 left. Again, we're on South Flow today for a Delta departure. We're going to follow them in unison. All right, so that was the 737-900. Let's see. Sorry for the quick pan there, but see if we can catch the 737-800 from Sun Country, and there she is. Departing on runway 17. We're looking north. And I'm probably going to need to say goodbye in the next few minutes here. Sorry if we're cutting short a little bit short, but the battery life took it out of me today. So I wanted to say thank you for everybody tuning in. We'll be here hopefully till 2:45, but we'll shut her down here in a few minutes. But thanks so much for tuning in. Great meeting everybody new. And you've got the first part of the stream on my live channel if you missed it. And of course, this is the second part. I've learned I cannot leave my password or the connection unsecure. So minus 5 points for me. But we saw a lot of beautiful aircraft today. And I hope you don't mind. It was a little slower on this side, but I did want to give you a good view. Mountains are much more beautiful if heading east. So thought I'd point that out. Let's get you, I think I see a Gulfstream 4 in the distance. So we can track that sucker down for you. So we're finishing up our broadcast here. Again, the snow background, if you're looking for a white plane, it can be hard sometimes, but that's the only downfall. Otherwise, it's absolutely gorgeous. A Gulfstream arriving on There she is. Arriving on runway 17 here at Salt Lake City International, Gulfstream 4. Private jet. Whoops. I've always been a fan of private jets because there's a lot more sometimes personalization and they're each unique. So I think everybody's ready for a big ski weekend here. There's also an airport about 25 minutes away from Park City in Heber, but it doesn't have quite the facilities. It's a smaller town. So there you see in the distance KC 135 for the Utah Air National Guard. Whoops. Sorry about that. I think I've got one more arrival in me. I see it in the distance. Up for the battery hold up. Give me just a moment here. And when I say battery, I speak of my laptop battery, not my camera battery. The camera battery works great. I can get a good 3 hours out of that. It's a laptop battery, with the streaming and everything. Makes it a little bit challenging. But we are looking north. We're at Salt Lake City International Airport if you're just tuning in Salt Lake City, Utah. See a lot of snow on the mountains. That's because on Tuesday and into Wednesday, we had about a good foot of snow here in the valley and about 2 feet in the mountains. The mountains, yes. I would like to thank ATC for filing the A330-900 to depart from this runway. And we got an Alaska E175. This is inbound from San Francisco. There's the Alaska tail peeking out there. Alaska flies in from Portland, Seattle, and also, I believe, San Francisco, of course, and San Diego. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We've got 2% battery life, so we are holding strong here. So, with that in mind, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Give you one last shot of the mountains in downtown Salt Lake. So, just a reminder if you're just tuning in, thank you so much, first off, for tuning in. We typically broadcast from Salt Lake City International Airport, but we do go to remote airports and on location. So, keep that in mind. And the best way to figure out when we're going to be broadcasting next is by subscribing, because I'll usually put out a video the night before or the day of where we're going to be at and what time. So just keep that in mind. So thanks so much for the likes and everybody for tuning in. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye, leave you with a shot of beautiful downtown Salt Lake City International Airport behind the Wasatch Mountains. Thank you so much for everybody tuned in and everybody who's new to the channel. And we'll update you where we'll be broadcasting next. I told Gary earlier that if I don't go to Colorado this weekend, you can expect to have a broadcast tomorrow on Saturday and tomorrow and then Sunday. So keep that in mind. So if I'm able to stick around, or if I do stick around, I'll put out a video, and we'll be looking forward to broadcast and talk with you soon as this 737 takes off into the air. So for now, this is Pip from Pip's Planespotting Live saying goodbye, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day, everyone, or good evening.